Welcome to UX India 2025. Today, in this conversation, we are going to talk about a unique angle, the role of design in policy making and national transformation. And for that, today we have with us Raunak, who is an innovation strategist and educator. And at core, he's shaping the India's innovation system. He's a founding member at AIM, which is Atal Innovation Mission at NITI Aayog, and he has also helped bring design and entrepreneurship into heart of policy making. Hello, hi Raunak.
Hi Bhageshri, thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Doing well, thank you so much. Just finished my talk. It was interesting to say the least and completely exhilarated by so many people at the UX India conference.
Yeah, so talking about that, your talk was about disruption, design, policy and systems. I really want to know, this is something that is really new as a topic that is being discussed at UX India. So how are you linking all these things together?
So there's a very simple story. I think I got connected with Kaladhar Bapuji on this particular topic. He was telling me about Raunak. We have been a community of passionate people focusing on UX India for the past 20-25 odd years with UMO design, and now we want to think that how does design philosophy in itself actually influence policy per se. When that happened, I really started pondering on the thought that okay, where were we using design thinking methodologies when we were designing policies or implementing policies per se? Two very prominent examples came to my mind. One is during the COVID-19 pandemic, we had to send out a lot of information to people regarding safety, regarding vaccination, and regarding the general behaviors that we need to follow to keep ourselves safe. Most of that communication was given by WHO, the World Health Organization, in English, and we thought that this has to be translated into other languages as well, and that's why we used the design philosophy in some ways, which was the empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. We empathize with our audience. Only 10% people, approximately 10% people, as per the last India's census, speak English as a secondary or a tertiary language. That actually opened up a lot of doors for us, deciding that okay, if we can use design philosophy not just in one particular context but in multi-context, and especially in a country like India, which is so multicultural, every 100 kilometers you have completely different cultures, completely different dialects, completely different even food per se, and also the people. So how do we actually democratize policy, okay, for a country like India? And we found that design can be that bottom-up approach, because policy traditionally is a top-down approach. So design can be that bottom-up approach which we can use, for I would rather say for the betterment of the people. So it is a very so whenever we work on governance and policy, we are not looking at profits. We are looking at impact. We are looking at people, because that is a responsibility of the government to think on what we can do and what we should not be doing.
Right.
Okay, so it's a very empathetic approach to start with in the beginning as well. We are doing it for the people. So one idea was that. The second idea was when we started doing taking inspiration from this, when we started doing the language innovation program for India, the language inclusive program for innovation, that LIPI. It started as something called the Vernacular innovation program, in which we actually worked with on-ground experts and passionate people who know their language, who know their dialect, to translate design thinking curriculum in all 22 languages of the country. What it gave us is the confidence that innovation and entrepreneurship as a discipline can be practiced in any language whatsoever.
Right.
Okay, even before Shark Tank came to India, Shark Tank was traditionally being conversed in only the English language.
Right.
But after Shark Tank came to India, we have more languages of Shark Tank as well. Not just Hindi, there are regional versions of Shark Tank as well these days. So there is a lot of design democratization when it comes to the innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem. And as a part of the government, what I felt. Today I'm no longer part of the government, so these are my own personal opinions. But what I felt when I was part of the government is that I am building it for the people. I am building it for my beneficiaries in the usual UX designers language, you are building it for your user. You are building it for your consumer. In my head, my consumer, my user is my beneficiary, or the people that I'm building policies from. So this is the whole idea of how policy, systems, and design work together. Where does disruption work come into the play is when we have people who are very entrepreneurial coming into the government with a very, very close proximity to the problem statement. Okay, when a person has very close proximity to the problem statement, or have dealt with the problem statement themselves, okay, they have a better degree of empathy towards that, towards the people who are facing the similar problem. So what happened with disruption is, when we became part of the government of India, we were hired as something called the lateral entrants. Okay, so the lateral entrants are people who are not traditional government employees. They come on only short-term specialized time or projects per se. Okay, and NITI Aayog at that particular point of time was full of such kind of consultants. There are a few of my friends, Sanjana Manaktala, who is now working with Rocket Learning. There's Siddharth, who's now working with Google. There's one of my friends, whose name is Naman, who's an innovation advisor to the Netherlands embassy. And I can go on and on and on about these people. So they were in the industry. They came to the government of India. They worked on a specialized project, and then they went back to doing other things in life, and bigger things in life, and better things in life. In my personal case, I was fortunate enough to continue my academic journey, and I was able to go to Boston. I was able to study at Harvard and MIT, do a bunch of projects there, do a bunch of research there, and now I'm back for the rest of 2025, and I'm trying to practice whatever I have learned in the past 10 years of my life. So that's where the disruption part comes in, when you have the people who are coming in together, collaborating with each other. Breaking silos is also one of the more critical parts that we were able to do when we were part of the government. And to be honest, it was a lot of fun. We did a lot of mistakes, but at the same time, we learned a lot. And also the mistakes that we did were also quite mitigable, to be honest. So we were able to learn forward. We were able to fail forward, not fail backward. So yeah, so that's where disruption comes in.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting to hear all of this and see that how design is, going beyond what it usually, we do as UX designers to, helping for the nation's transformation. Very interesting. So looking forward of your journey, starting from engineering, then to NITI Aayog, and then to MIT and Harvard. You are a maker and an innovator. So how was your journey overall?
So I think one of the reasons that I am what I am is because of the fact of the extreme privilege I have, especially from my mentors and also from my family, to be honest. I started working with my father at the age of 10 in his very humble shop. We used to fix a lot of photocopier machines. We used to fix a lot of computers. At that time, we had those bulky computers at that particular point of time. So I learned a lot from him as well. I learned a lot from my ecosystem per se as well. I was grown in a very multilingual environment. My mother knows 8 languages. My mother knows 8 languages, and I know 4. So it was a lot of collaborative mindset within a small neighborhood in Mumbai. So I got a knack for engineering at that particular point of time, and then I visited a lot of exhibits, museums, to definitely ensure that I'm learning as much as I can. I was again fortunate enough to pursue mechanical engineering, not because of the fact that my parents wanted me to pursue engineering per se, but it was what I wanted to do, and my parents were obviously very, very supportive of that. When I completed my mechanical engineering degree, I was traveling all across, working in media, working in real estate, and then working in a makerspace.
Yeah.
So I became a part of a makerspace called Makers Asylum. I helped a few kids create technological innovations, basically the small prototypes which they can participate in hackathons. And then I found my passion that I love teaching making to children. I was a maker at heart myself, but I also love teaching and educating kids about making. So after that, I traveled all across the country to create something called the Atal Tinkering Labs, one of the first Atal Tinkering Labs in Chandigarh and the other states of the country. And when that happened, I was in close touch with the NITI Aayog's founding team of Atal Innovation Mission when it was getting founded. Like the policy, when the innovation policy of India was being written, I was around, and at that time I was only 23 years old. So life was good. I went across when I was 24. I went around the country to teach kids about innovation, set up these tinkering labs, and then one fine day I got an opportunity to interview for the part of the founding team of Atal Innovation Mission. As now it's called Innovation Lead. When I had joined it, the designation is called as an expert. So yeah, this is at the age of 25, joining NITI Aayog, India's apex innovation office, Atal Innovation Mission, was daunting, surreal, scary, everything. And I still remember the principal, one of the former principal scientific advisor of India, Dr. K. Vijayaraghavan, hosted 8 Nobel laureates in Goa, supported by late Dr. Manohar Parrikar, who was the chief minister of Goa at that time. And this was my first event with the government, and I thought that okay, it would be like a usual Sarkari event and all of that stuff. But I saw the progressiveness, that mindset that they have, and they were also innate designers per se, because they were not designing policy per se, but they were also designing a lot of biological tools, equipment, sciences. I can cut this, but yeah, they were doing a lot of bio innovation. Okay, and that just made me think that, oh my God, this is a very progressive time for me to join. And in NITI, I have got, and this is something that nobody will tell, very few people could tell you, but I think I got a lot of love from NITI Aayog. I was allowed to make many decisions. I was allowed to take a lot of calls with respect to the Atal Tinkering Labs program. I was also allowed to experiment a lot, most importantly, and that was just because of the proximity of the kids that I had. So that helped me take that program, and a bunch of us, we created a whole ecosystem of over 10,000 tinkering labs, impacting more than 1.1 crore students.
That's huge.
Yes. It's just humbling. And then we had support from 6,000 mentors, so many IAS officers, so many government officials, so many ministers, and it was a collective movement. It was a collective movement that. And I feel that this is what we need if India has to become a developed nation. We have to work as a collective. And after that happened, after 5 years at NITI Aayog, then I went to Harvard. My major reason to go to Harvard was I thought that whatever I knew, whatever I had learned from Maker's Asylum or my own Maker ethos was spent or was used. I wouldn't say spent, but I would say used well, used correctly. In contributing towards my nation. So I thought I need to learn more, and that's how I decided that okay, I would like to do a advanced degree, a master's degree. And again, my mentors are NITI Aayog, Amitabh Kant, who was a G20 Sherpa, Chintan Vaishnav, Aisha, my manager. Everyone were super supportive, and has been that way ever since. At Harvard, I focus on 3 disciplines: systems thinking, innovation strategy, or disruptive innovation. Many of the people would have read the book, The Innovator's Dilemma. So yeah, the class about that. And I learned a bit about Schumpeterian economics. So all these 3 combined, when I read more and more, when I went deeper and deeper about it, I found the origin of design thinking methodology. Empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test, which is a part of my talk. Okay. And how system thinking led to wicked problems, led to design thinking methodology. And this was interestingly back in 1992, 33 years ago. So when I had this bunch of knowledge being given to me by my mentors, I just thought that okay, now it's time to go back to India for a while, try to test out that what more can be done with this. And that's how I came back to India. And I'm working with different organizations, both in government, quasi-government, private, education institutes as well, across the board, to just identify problems and to try and solve them. And the biggest beautiful part about this is the people, like I'm getting the resources or I'm getting the people from those institutions themselves. Okay, so it's easy for me to leave something which is self-sustainable, because now I don't have to. If I go out, the system survives and thrives, and that is the measure of. So this is what I will close with. That if there's one thing that I've learned in the past 2 years after coming back after my Harvard degree, is that your measure of success is not what promotions you get. Your measure of success is not what the money you make. Your measure of success is when you leave, whatever you have created has to survive, thrive, and grow. If that happens, then that is the measure of your success. So I want to create systems where when I am no longer around, okay, the systems will thrive and survive, because that is the proof, that is my evidence that I have done.
Self-reliant.
Yes, the self-reliant part, that I have done good work. Okay, so this is where the whole story of engineering, NITI Aayog, Harvard, and then now as a system thinker is. So the next step is, hopefully I would love to take a dab at economics, okay, microeconomics, but I think that is maybe in 2027.
Yeah, I mean, like, your journey is a true testimony of, experimentation and curiosity taking you to places. That was great to hear about. You have worked at the intersection of design, policy, and systems. So can you give an example of, how systems are transforming policy making?
There are few that come to my mind. Okay. The Atal Tinkering Lab program, which has been very, very close to my heart. It's actually a part of my existence as well. Is one. The language inclusive program of innovation, which I have given a talk about earlier today, is another. The third, I will actually use this time to introduce a new example, because both of these examples actually already have a lot of evidence on the web, on the websites, and on the public domain. So we back in 2019, we were working on creating the AI curriculum of India. This is 2019, 3 years before ChatGPT. Okay. So we were trying to introduce the AI, artificial intelligence curriculum of India. This was followed by the National Strategy for Artificial Intelligence, which is 2018. So I think India was one of the first 3 countries who had a national artificial intelligence policy. This is what I learned at MIT. I didn't knew this before going to MIT. I just knew that we were working on an AI policy. That's it. So as a part of the AI policy, there was an influx that we have to create an AI curriculum. So there we use a combination of design, policy, and systems in such a manner that policy has said that we have to create this curriculum. And again, this precedes national education policy. National education policy was under the works at that particular point of time. So policy says that, okay, there has to be artificial intelligence or technology curriculum in the schools and colleges. Okay. Systems. What can make those curriculum pieces for us? Okay. So who are the people? Few people from the government, few people from the academia, few people educators, few people from the universities, few people from the industry. All of these come together. We created a task force for AI curriculum in India. It was convened by, a systems player called NASSCOM. Okay, so NASSCOM and Atal Innovation Mission came together. We created a group of people across industry, academia, governance, all of that stuff. So we had someone from the government. We had someone from, let's say, Adobe, Apple. We had an educator from Microsoft, Intel. We have people from AWS. We had people from Indian startups as well. Okay, so all of this collective group of 40 odd individuals came together and created the first AI curriculum of India. So it became the base module and it became a step-up module. So there were 2 parts of the module, base and step-up. Now where the design comes in, both base and step-up modules are not just books talking to you. Okay, they are not books which are talking to you. They are actually workbooks in some forms or the other, with a lot of QR codes, with a lot of crossword puzzles, with a lot of places where kids can actually scribble and write.
They're very interactive.
Very engaging. We deliberately chose not to do this on an online version because this was pre-COVID. Okay, so we were not sure that how many students have access to digital devices. Okay, so we created a workbook, and the workbook is where the design came through. Okay, again, we cannot just write a plain textbook. Okay, that is not the purpose. We wanted to make it interactive. We wanted to make sure that the kids actually interact with it in a way that we want them to do, in a very positive, in a very I would say involved manner per se. So this is how it was designed per se, and the colors are bright. It's interactive with the kids. There are different kinds of short challenges there. It's gamified. Okay, you have a small subsidy kind of a path there.
Yeah.
Okay, so all of these things actually came together, and it couldn't have happened if we didn't had the policy which set the direction. We have to do this. The system, that is the people who can do it, and the design, the method which does it. Okay,
Yeah.
and the whole ideas again fall under the disruption part of it. That okay, we wanted to do something new. Disruption is trying to do something new, like putting us on our toes, and it actually made me also kept on my toes as well, and all of our team members as well. Because at that particular point of time, I was not certified educator per se. After Harvard, yes. Before Harvard, definitely I was just a random mechanical engineer in policy. So I was not a I didn't have the academic rigor. I would rather say that. Okay, but that helped me build that academic research based rigor as well. Okay, and if you have to interact with kids, you need to understand human centered design thinking.
Yes.
Okay, that is the most critical years of any human's development. Okay,
Right.
we cannot get it wrong. We have to be very cognizant of that fact. So we tried. Obviously, there you can take the book and put a lot of bullet holes in it, but at that particular point of time, we did the best that with the knowledge and with the resources and with our capacities, we tried to do the best that we did, and I think it went really well. Later, CBSE created its own AI curriculum, taking a notch up, and now we have AI as a curriculum piece of CBSE. Now, when I think AI can happen, why doesn't design?
Right.
So the next steps would be, okay, how can you introduce design curriculum in schools
Yeah.
to raise that awareness? So if I were to think that what should I do next as a policy maker who is passionate about design, I would say that, okay, introduce design curriculum in education.
Right.
Okay, it can be school education, can be higher education, and then we can see what more can happen.
Yeah, I think truly that these all examples will help us, develop better systems, and also, the power of collaboration that can help in the nation's transformation. Moving forward, like in general, there are many innovations that get stuck at labs or let's say at pilot testing. So I want to know that what strategies can these people adopt to make real impact and, take it at a larger scale?
So I might think of how if there's a platform where these early stage entrepreneurs can actually ideate and test their prototypes out, okay, in a low fidelity or a low risk environment.
Yeah.
I think that can help us multiply innovation as much as I can. In the systems design drawing that I shared earlier, I talk very deeply about when a system is worth protecting. Okay, the engagement and the failure tolerance increases in the system. Okay, so when a failure tolerance increases and when engagement increases, the ecosystem grows and innovation diversity also increases. Okay,
Right.
so when I'm connecting these 4 system dynamics pointers, in my head, I just want to create more and more opportunities and mechanisms for early stage entrepreneurs, irrespective of design, policy, or innovation or governance or entrepreneurship, to have more touch points.
Yeah.
They need to have more places where they can present their ideas. They need to have more places where they can take feedback. They need to have more places where we can have mentorship and support in place. And obviously, they need to have more places that they can fund it.
Yeah.
Okay. So incubation is something which I feel could be that solution. A specialized incubator program or an incubation institution design entrepreneurs can help us. Okay, obviously the start has to be a little more involved. There still are like a lot of government supports and private supports for incubation as well. Okay, there is some degree of VC funding which has the slow capital, as we call patient capital. There is some degree of patient capital in the industry as well, which can help us build this incubator. This incubator can be physical or virtual. That is a question in itself. But I would think that if we can create an incubator specifically for design startups or design ideas, that would be great. Again, if the incubator wants to take a share of that particular startup, they can decide it for themselves. But I think such kind of an entity has to exist where startups are only and only, obviously they are multidisciplinary, but they have a focus on, or they have an expertise in design philosophy, because then the rest of the industry knows that they have to go to this particular incubator where to find a design startup. Right now it's very unorganized. So that's what my 2 cents are.
Yeah, so like how in US you have the Y Combinator, why can't we have it in India for design as well?
Yes. Y Combinator for design startup is or IDEX for defense in India. And we have seen that success.
Yeah.
We have IDEX, defense in India. We have Anik Ayais, which is also a part of Atal Innovation Mission, to be honest. And we have more mechanisms as well. In Israel as well, we have a few startup incubators focused on technology. One more example is Banatsani Vidyapeeth, women's only incubator.
Interesting.
Okay. So there are people who are already working on that kind of inclusive incubation. IIT Jammu has an incubator now. Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology in Hyderabad here has an incubator. Again, as the name suggests, it's about molecular biology or defense. Not defense. I'm so sorry. Health startups. Okay, so it's about health startups, and also Hyderabad is where the vaccine was actually originated as well, right?
Yeah.
With our vaccine, our COVID vaccine. So these kind of things are already happening in an unorganized way. And then I would say that if we have, it's not a matter of if, when we have a design incubator, we will have more people coming together.
Yeah, great. I think all these strategies and tips are really very helpful for all, our future generation entrepreneurs. Moving forward, let's move on to the next segment. So basically, I'll ask you a few questions and it's a rapid fire round. So starting with the first one, describe yourself in one word.
Maker.
Great. One book or movie that you find inspiring.
So I have only read 2 books in my life. Okay. Both of them have been recommended by my mentors. Okay. The first book which I read was Jonathan Livingston's Seagull.
Okay.
Okay. Which is about a seagull. That was also the first and the only book that I issued from the Harvard Library. Okay. And the second book which I got as a gift on my final class at Harvard is How Will You Measure Your Life by Clay Christensen. Okay. So these are the only 2 books that I've read, and these are recommended by my mentors. So yeah. Policy books, everything else, but yeah, books, these 2.
Great. What's the best part of your work day?
I have 100% control over my time.
Yeah, that's something that's the best part. Yeah. What do you love about UX India?
I think what I have grown to love, because it's fairly new to me. The conference is fairly new to me. The UX is not that new to me. Is a very dear friend of mine. She is a design leader. Okay, and I have spent tremendous amount of time with her, understanding what UI UX is. So taking inspiration from her. In fact, I took help from her, or she was the one who gave me feedback on my presentation. Okay, so she always used to tell me that design is a discipline. Yeah. Okay, so what I love about UX India is that it is inching towards that particular notion that design is a discipline. It's not just a good to have, but a must have.
Yeah.
Okay, so I actually will quote her on this, that what I love about UX India is that it is inching that vision. It is inching towards that vision that design is a discipline. We already know that, but it's becoming a norm, and it will eventually become a part of the culture.
Yeah, great. So moving forward to the last question for the conversation, how UX India can influence policy and we as designers can help in doing that?
Okay, so this particular question is very, very, very interesting, because for the past 1 week, not even the part of the conference, since I have actively started my laptop to work on my presentation until now, and even beyond as well, I have thought of this question. So this question is somewhat baked in my head, more based on the work that I have done. Okay, I feel that the UX India can be the connector between problem identifiers and problem solvers. When I say problem identifiers, I'm not saying that the person who's facing the problem. Problem identifiers are system level thinkers, government. They understand what is up. They are identifying the problem and trying to solve it. Okay, so what I would like to see in UX India is that, and I would love to work on this as well as a project, is UX India becoming this forum where there are one set of systems level people who are coming with the problem statements.
Yeah.
And then there's one set of people who are coming with the solutions to those problem statements.
Yeah.
So how can this system thrive and survive? For example, you have a bunch of startups. You're coming here to present their work. Okay, some of the startups are bigger, some of the startups are smaller, and there are some students as well.
Yeah.
So let us just compare these players. There's government, there are big startups, there are small startups, and then there are students. So can the big startups, okay, identify the problem statements that they are facing, articulate them, and open a challenge for the students that, hey, I am a big startup, I have this XYZ client. They don't have to name the client, okay, and let them solicit ideas through a hackathon mechanism from the students. So this is one input, one throughput, and one output mechanism. Okay, so this can become a forum. Second is the government comes through and says that, okay, we are building this particular public service or public good, and we need designers to look at it in a different manner. So the government gives them a couple of problem statements, us UX India, and UX India consolidates them and solicits them and give it to the younger startups, which can use that problem statement to solve the solution of the government players. It's a win-win situation for both of them. The government gets solutions, the smaller startups gets some kind of a recognition or some kind of a revenue stream model, and for the larger startups and the students, the larger startups get fresh ideas which are actually directly solvable with their clients, and at the same time the student community can get internship or employment opportunities.
Right.
Okay, so UX India can be that. When UX India does that for government and smaller startup, it becomes a policy player. When UX India does that with the larger startups and the students, it becomes an academic player.
Right.
Okay, and again, UX India is already a startup and design player, so I don't have to talk more about that. But if I have to add these two facets to the conference, I would love to work on this particular. I would love to work with the core team on designing this. Work with the team to navigate the policy webs. I won't cut this, So what I wanted to say is that I would love to help UX India in navigating the public policy corridors, okay, so that we can do more and more and more. And there's a testament to this, because yesterday we had leadership from the government coming to a conference, and this is the first time that it has happened.
Yes.
And the IT Ministry of Telangana spoke so highly and spoke in a very educated voice. He knew how and why of design, and he also knew that why this particular idea of having design as a part of public infrastructure is important. He spoke very candidly about it. Okay, so there is some kind of an understanding within the government as well, and I think this is the head start. This is our tailwind. Okay, this is the head start. This is the tailwind that we need now, and we already have that. So if I were to given responsibility, okay, and also obviously if I have the bandwidth and the time, and then there's institutional support as well, I would love to try to understand that, okay, how can I build these two input-output mechanisms in the conference in itself? Then obviously other things like footfall, sponsorship, more people interacting are all the spillovers of that system design.
Yes.
Okay, so that will happen.
Yeah.
Okay, your beneficiary or your user adoption rate will increase if we have more and more influx activities. So this is where I think UX India can be a great policy player. At the same time, the community can become more cohesive in its own right.
Yeah, it was, great to hear your vision and your idea of, how we can take UX India forward. And I'm sure that, all the viewers would be inspired by this and would, love to take it forward. So thank you so much, Raunak, for your time and for the insightful talk. It was really great having you over here.
Thank you so much. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of the show. Do well. And yeah, as always, just make, break, and create. Life is fun. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.